I'm Chris Orangeo, and I'm with the cast and crew of, spoiler alert, director Jes Vasquez.
So Chris is our only cast member today, so he's our shining star today. Like he said, I'm writer, producer, director on this. Eric Lovett was our DP. Kristen Lusk was our producer and assistant director. I think we on that one. And Jess Arena was also our assistant director because we had 2 days and then we were in 2 different locations, and with people's schedules there's a bit of sharing responsibilities, which is like always indie film.
Eric was also an actor too.
Yeah, you're right. He made his cameo. That was in his contract. He said, I need to be on camera.
Yeah, that was definitely in the contract, the invisible contract. I said I wanted to be the Stanley of DP, so I needed to make it.
We did this in 2019, so we did 2 days. We did 1 day in like February of 2019 with our main cast who's watching a TV show together, 2 besties trying to bond. They don't see each other a lot, and while they're binge watching their favorite show, a roommate comes home and interrupts their binge watching, and nobody likes that. So we did all that in 1 day, but we had a real skeleton crew. It was just, we had all of our actors available, we had our location available, and we thought we were going to get a full crew to round it out, and it just didn't really happen that way. But we're like, we gotta go, we already have the actors in the location, like let's just figure it out. And after that day, Eric and I were like, never again skeleton crew.
Yeah, no, that was a long day too. Yeah, I love the fact that you actually, it's not like them just watching like a fake TV, like you do cut to other scenes that look extremely cinematic. So if you want to talk about that.
It starts, spoiler alert, does start off a little bit slow just to like establish these 2 characters. And so the first couple minutes is just describing like, okay, how do they know each other? Why is this night different from any other night? And so the 2 female characters, just, they're really good friends, they're best friends. But, once you start to grow up and you each have your own lives and jobs and what have you, your schedules don't really make you available as much. And so this was one of those nights where like, oh, we finally get to see each other. We finally get to catch up. This is what I'm doing. This is what she's doing. And, do we know each other as well as we used to? And can we still make this friendship last? So this night is like so important to them. And then you find out they're at the one friend's house, and the roommate comes home, played by Chris Orangeo, and he's just been stood up. And so
I tell this to everyone. I think I've acted in 3 of your films, and I'm always a lovable loser. I feel like that's what I take away from it. I'm always like just constantly like the world is just constantly like down in me. But this one was a little bit different. It was fun working with Selena and Katie a lot.
Yeah, and I wanted female characters. I wanted a lot of female characters, and I always want it to be fun for like everybody who's working on it. And so I knew that this would be really fun for our crew as well, because we had to have it look like they were watching something on TV. So lighting wise, that was important. We also had to, keep in mind what it is that they were watching as far as how they were reacting. And then, like we said, we got to actually film some scenes and audio of what they were watching. And we did that on the 2nd day. So,
Eric, did you shoot those TV scenes as well?
I did, yes.
So what was the challenge between shooting that versus like the short film itself?
So that's a good question. So I would say the challenge of it, and then Jess mentioned it, is that like we wanted to make sure that the same emotion kind of came across. So and the thing was, we shot the TV scenes after the fact. So some people say that helps, because we were to see what we did on set the first day, and play off of that. So I think that helped us with curating the the what you saw on the TV.
Yeah.
But
It worked out well. Like I said, I believe the one scene where like Devon's character is walking up the steps, you have like them talking over it. So I think that works out in its favor too. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really. Maybe I'm not watching enough small independent shorts, but I don't really see someone legit film another short film within a short film. And I feel like Jes Vasquez is like, I need to challenge myself, so let's just do this.
Well, and Eric and I had a discussion before we filmed that like we wanted this to be ambitious. Like this was my more ambitious project, and something that I knew going into it was I don't know how much I can put into this other than being like the writer director, because I think a lot of people in independent film especially can put their hand in everything.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, thankfully Eric was like, just focus on the script, let somebody else do post-production. And so that was really helpful. It's like, okay, let's make sure what we're doing on set is 100% so that once it gets to post, at least it's everything that's needed for it to come together in post.
Right. And to piggyback off of that, like, yeah, like, because that does happen a lot, like in the film world where everyone does want to do everything. And I'm a big proponent of like specialists, like, you know, like if you know, if you're bringing in certain people, like let them be great at what they do, you know. And and like in just scenario, like my biggest worry was like I knew that this project was very ambitious, you know, especially for, you know, not having the crew and all that type of stuff. Was very ambitious, and there's something that we believe that could be done. But I knew that one thing that would stop it is like if we got spread too thin. So being able to allow Jes to focus on the action, to focus on the directing, and then like I took helm of the cinematography, and like, you know, working with the crew and all that. Like I feel like we were able to divide and conquer. And then yeah, I feel like that really speaks to how the piece came together.
And also Jessarina and Kristen are a huge help because they
I was gonna ask
really
what was
keep
there...
us like calm and fed on set, which is so important.
Yeah, I remember on set the first day, Jessarina, like she kept, and I think I've worked with Kristen on other projects as well. Both of you are always constantly like, all right, time check is this, time check is that. Like you're kind of keeping you like in line so you don't kind of like go astray or like lead off the beaten path a little bit. You kind of, that's what ADs are for. So Jes and Kristen, if you guys want to talk about like your experience on this short film and everything, like Jes, were you there for both days?
I was there the first day. So, yeah, and much to what you guys are saying, so the first day I was assistant director, but also being on the skeleton crew was taking behind the scenes photos. So I'm trying to like keep track of everybody's schedule, make sure we're on time for stuff, but also taking some behind the scenes. So I did feel a little split, and that's what Eric was saying, where it's just really important to have those specific roles for everybody to like let each person kind of focus on their own thing. But you know, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do in indie film too. So and I think obviously, you know, you can see the finished film and know that everybody worked really hard on it. Everybody did a really great job, no matter how many hats they had to wear for it. So yeah, I was just there the first day. And actually I remember that our lighting guy had to leave early too. So there was that added challenge as well.
Yeah. And then at the end of the night, it was like Eric, Bill, Jes, and I don't know if anyone else was. Yeah, Bill. Yeah. And we got to the point where we were so tired, Eric, where we were just laughing at nonsense. I remember just us laughing at nonsense. So the second day, I guess, shoot-wise, Kristen, you stepped in for AD, correct?
Yeah, I think it's really interesting because, like, while this was all happening, I was, like, working remote, like, for pre-production and then getting, like, production report for what happened on day one. And so I knew everything that happened and felt bad because I couldn't be there. For the first day of shooting, and then I could only be there for half the day for within a script as well. So like I'm seeing this all from like afar, and then I only was there for like a very short period of time on within a script. But when I got there, it was like boom, like such like not a skeleton crew. There were so many people there. Like we had like because with the whole AD situation, like I swapped out with another AD. I think there was like 2 sound guys that day too. So like we were still like trying to like still, it's just a lesson in like crewing up, and like unfortunately I don't feel like it ever gets any easier. Like every time we do another short, I'm like, okay, we gotta find our crew and not be a skeleton crew, which you think that I could continue to do that, but I can't. Like, but
yeah, I don't know how people do that.
Yeah, like on our last short, I feel like we ended up becoming like bare bones again, and that was like a mistake. But yeah, it's just so important to crew up, and I know especially from just seeing Jes and Eric work on within a script, like you guys were so in the zone, like especially like Eric, because I know like you had like a cam op that day and like another like how many ACs I don't know, but but like but it was just like everyone was vibing really well, and like the lighting was incredible. I just remember like that was a good day, and really fun, like Jes was saying. But I like, you know, I was just really seeing it from afar, and then like coming in last second being like, hey, happy we're running on time.